Unit 10, John Webster's The Duchess of Malfi. The Duchess of Malfi, originally published as The Tragedy of the Duchess of Malfi. It is a Jacobean revenge tragedy written in English by the renowned dramatist John Webster in the year 1612 and 1613. The drama was first performed privately at the Friars Theatre, then later to a larger audience at the Globe Theatre in the year 1613 to 1614. In the year 1623, it was published. The play is loosely based on events that occurred between 1508 to 1513 surrounding Giovanna di Argona, Duchess of Amalfi, whose father, Enrico di Argona, Marquis of Greece, was an illegitimate son of Ferdinand I of Naples. As in the play, she secretly married Antonio Visidili di Bologna after the death of her first husband, Alfonso I Piccolomini, who is the Duke of Almafiani. So based on this theme, John Webster has written the same tragedy in English in the title, The Duchess of Malfi. Biography of John Webster. John Webster was born in the year 1579 in London. His date of birth is not recorded in any document that survives to this date. It was known that his father was also named John and that the father earned a good living as a coachmaker, but the name and the background of Webster's mother is not known. Webster attended the prestigious Merchant Taylor School, an institution established for children of members of the Company of Merchant Tailors, where he received a solid basic education of literature in Latin, English, and also he is good in music and dramatic performances. Although the play itself has been lost, there is evidence that Webster was a part of a group that was paid in 1602 for writing Caesar's Fall. Webster would continue to collaborate with other playwrights, including Thomas Dekker, Thomas Middleton, and Michael Drayton, for much of his career. Most of these plays were written for performance by particular theatrical companies. In or near 1605, Webster married a woman named Sarah Pinina. Their first son, also named John, was baptized in the year 1606, and several other children followed. Webster was apparently able to support his family through his writing. Webster's famous plays are The White Devil and The Duchess of Malfi. He wrote approximately 10 plays in collaboration and at least 4 individually. Webster's last known play, Appius and Virginia, was produced in London in the year 1634. Though no record of his death have been found, reference to Webster in the last of other writers seems to indicate that he died no later than late 1634. Let me explain the play Duchess of Malfi in act-wise. The Duchess of Malfi is divided into 5 acts, each comprising several scenes. In the first 3 scenes of the Act 1, the major characters are introduced. Antonio, Duchess, Bosollo, Ferdinand, Cardinal. These characters plays a major role in the drama. All the characters are introduced in the first 3 scenes of Act 1. The setting is in Italian city of Malfi in the 16th century. The Duchess of Malfi is a widow. Antony, the Duchess steward, talks to his friend Delio as they observe the other who passes through the chamber. The first to enter the Cardinal and Bossolo. Although Bossolo has recently been released after 7 years for a murder he committed at the behest of the Cardinal is cold to him and will not acknowledge his debt. When the Cardinal re enters with the Duchess, Antonio gives Delio his impression of three siblings. The Cardinal is jealous and vengeful, Ferdinand is perverse and turbulent, and the Duchess is sweet and noble. Ferdinand asks the Duchess to accept Bosola as a servant, and she agrees. In fact, the brothers have hired Bosolo to spy on the attitude of Duchess. So the two brothers warn Duchess not to remarry, as she promises that she will not. However, as soon as they leave her chamber, she summons Antonio and the two perform a private marriage with the Duchess' trusted servant Cariallo as witness. In the second act, there are 5 scenes. After several months, the Duchess is about to give birth to the child. Her marriage to Antony is still secret, which is unknown to her brothers. She has concealed her pregnancy by wearing loose clothing. Bosollo, however, suspects that she is pregnant and tries to trap her by giving her a present of apricots. When she devours them hungrily and then vomits, he has confirmation of the pregnancy but does not reveal what he knows. To avoid suspicion, the Duchess is giving birth, a rust is invented. The Duchess delivers a healthy son, and when Cariolo tells Antony the good news, he prepares a set of calculation based on astrology to determine the baby's future. When Basolo sneaks out of the country yard beneath the Duchess' window and he hears her crying out, Antonio finds him there and they argue about Basolo left his room. As he leaves Basolo, Antony accidentally drops the paper on which he has written his astrological notes of his son, and Basolo retrieves it. A baby has born to Duchess, a baby who will have a short life. Basolo knows that Antonio is on the secret, but does not consider that a man of Antonio's social class could be the father. In Rome, the cardinal meets in the chamber with Julia, his mistress. Delio arrives and prepositions Julia, but refuses him. In another part of the cardinal palace, Ferdinand has received a letter from Bozzolo telling him of the baby's birth. The cardinal and Ferdinand discuss their sister's betrayal. They could not tolerate the betrayal of her sister, so they decided to take revenge against her sister. In the Act 3, there are 6 scenes. The scenes happen several years actually. The Duchess has given birth to 2 more children, but her marriage is still a secret. Bosola still has not discovered the identity of the father. Ferdinand, finally stirred to action, arrives at the Duchess' palace to confront her. To play an affectionate joke on her, Antonio and Cariolo step out of the room while the Duchess is talking to herself in the mirror, and Ferdinand comes into the room at the same moment. He accuses her of shaming the family with the promiscuity, and although she tells him that she is married, he vows never to look again. The Duchess sends Antonio to safety by pretending that he has stolen money and be banished. In her grief, the Duchess confides in Bozzolo, tell him everything. Bozzolo plot to entrap the Duchess and Antonio. He speeds to Rome to tell what he knows and find his reward, and the brothers respond him with expected fury. Bozzolo brings a letter from Ferdinand calling for Antonio's death, and Antonio and the Duchess say goodbye again. They know that this will be final parting, Antonio takes her oldest son and flees to Milan. The Duchess is arrested by Borsolo in disguise and taken by guards to her palace. In Act 4, two scenes set in Duchess' chamber. Ferdinand arranges for a series of horrors. He visits the Duchess in the darkened room and he enjoys the torture of his sister. He shows her wax figure that the bodies of Antonio and the three children, which is made up of wax actually. He arranges for 8 madmen to scream outside her window. This is how he tortures his own sister because he could not tolerate the betrayal of her sister. Finally, Borsolo brings 2 executioners to the judge's chamber and they strangle her. She faces her death with dignity. Cariola is also strangled, though she resists her death with all her energy. Off stage, the 2 young children are also strangled. When Ferdinand sees his dead sister, he has a dramatic change of heart, and rather than rewarding Bozzolo, he blames him for the murder. In the last act of the play, there were 5 scenes actually. The 4 days after the events, the cardinal has had all of Antonio's property seized. Antonio decides to visit the cardinal and to attempt a reconciliation. Ferdinand's madness has increased, and he has been seen digging up bodies in the cemetery and carrying a man's legs over his shoulder. He has almost gone insane. Bosola arrives in Milan, and he and the cardinal try to determine what other knows. The Duchess is dead, so that he will not seem to have been involved in the murder, but Bosola persuades Julia to find out the truth. Outside the cardinal's home, Antonio and Delio speak with a ghostly echo that comes from the Duchess' grave. Bozzolo vows to protect Antonio from harm, but he accidentally kills Antonio with his sword, mistaking him for the cardinal who has promised to kill Bozzolo. In the final scene of the play, an anguished Bozzolo kills the cardinal's servant and stabs the cardinal. Ferdinand rushes in and stabs Bozzolo and the cardinal. Bozzolo stabs Ferdinand. At last, all lie die. Delio enters with Antonio's son and calls for an unfeigned effort to support the young man as the new Duke of the Duchess. Let me explain the characters. Antonio is the steward and who is the husband of the Duchess of Malfi and who is rejected by Cardinal as well as Ferdinand actually, who actually married the Duchess of Malfi in the absence of her brothers actually, and he is less sharp and drawn, but the glimpses given to him do not fulfill the promise in Act 1, in further act also. And Daniel D. Bozzolo, one of the most prominent villain created by John Webster. He is employed by Ferdinand, who arranges his position in order to spy actually the activities of Duchess. Bozzolo is the most complex character in the play and the only whose thinking and personality changes from the beginning to the end actually. When Antonio is with the Duchess, when he comes to know that both have got married, he waited for a chance actually, because he want to caught them with the referred evidences actually. So that actually shows that he is a true servant than a honest man to their masters Ferdinand and Cardinal. The Cardinal, who is the brother of Duchess, as cold and calculating and excatable actually. He is a high-ranking official in the Roman Catholic Church, but he does not live the life of a Christian saint. He doesn't actually show any interest for his sister's marriage, who wants her sister not to marry anyone. This is how he shows his cruelty throughout the play actually. The next character is Cariolo. who is a trustworthy servant of Duchess, who helps the Duchess in all her actually work. And she is the one who survives the Duchess' children at the end of the play and who announces that he is the new Duke of the same. And Julio is a very good friend of Antonio and a very good courtier who plays the main role in the play. And she is also a friend in whom Antonio confides the secret of his marriage and the birth of his child. And he is the one who survives both Antonio and the Duchess till the end of the Act 4, actually. And Duchess of Malfi, who is the protagonist of the play and who is the sister of the two evil characters, Cardinal and Ferdinand, who has lost her husband when she was very early. As a widow, she has the bloom of youth. So she has decided to marry Antonio for his character. And she secretly marries Antonio even when she was warned by her brother not to marry anybody. She has decided to face any kind of sufferings in her life in order to lead her life honestly. And she is affectionate with her husband, children, servant, and she is a tender hearted one, a mercy and a kindness even to her brother Cardinal and Ferdinand. There are many actually common critical positive comments on the character Duchess, which is beautifully created by Webster. And the Ferdinand, the Duke of Calabria, the twin brother of Duchess, who has become emotional after her death actually, and who started realizing that uh, he has done a great mistake in the name of actually Basolo. After the death of her sister, he has taken the leg of a man on his shoulder who is actually started digging and who actually realizes that he has done a great actually mistake for his sister, the Duchess. And the last character, Julia, the wife of the old nobleman, is the cardinal's mistress. And she plays a minor role in the play. Let us summarize the play. The Duchess of the Malfi is considered as one of the masterpieces of Webster's work. In Webster's own time, the Duchess of Malfi sold enough tickets to be profitable, and the publication of the play in 1623 was accompanied by verses from other playwrights who seem to have found the play worth of prices. From the second half of the 17th century through the 18th, the play was seldom performed and there was no extended criticism of it. In the 20th century, dozens of critics have written about the play, and it actually been identified that it's still being told that it is the best play ever written by John Webster. Even though there is some illogical in the play, including like how the son of the Duchess uh, is survived, how she has given the birth to three children, even when there is Basolo, even though there are many illogics in the play, but that has been screenplayed by John Webster by his language and by his verses actually. So this is how many psychological questions about the play have been raised by several critics, but the end actually says the central question is that is the Duchess really the main character of the play? If so, what is the play about? So the test says that the Duchess of Malfi is named in the character the Duchess. So she is the protagonist of the play. And it is remembered by the people ever because Webster has presented different characters. They speak differently in different tones that can be enjoyed by the audience. In fact, in very few lines in the Duchess of Malfi are regular 10 syllable lines. Most have more fewer syllable or stresses in different places. As in the line, we are merely the stars, tennis balls, stucks, and planted. And these are the key terms which help you to understand the technical words used in the text. And these are the terminal questions. Thank you.